My name is Jeremy.
And my name is Raphael.
And this is the Risk Channels podcast brought to you by AAC International. And today, we're going to be talking about electric cars and their impact on society. So to start with, what do you think about electric cars?
Electric cars? Interesting. Because, me growing up with a whole car background, I love gas-powered engines and everything, but electric cars, they're definitely dope. They're cutting edge, high-performing vehicles, and I think that, the future could really embrace them and get to like them and love them. How do you feel about them?
I feel like, as somebody who's been driving for a couple of years now and just seeing them on the road, I think they're very expensive, overpriced. They look cool, but if you're paying $50,000-$60,000 for a Tesla, why is it always breaking down on the side of the road?
You say you see them on the side of the road all the time?
Yeah, it's just like they just sit there on the side of the road, and it's just like nothing looks like visibly done to it. What happened to the car? It's supposed to be cutting edge technology, but it's just there.
Yeah.
While I'm driving my gas-powered car, going maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 miles every couple of times for oil change, but you're on the side of the road. It's supposed to be $50,000, $60,000 car. Maybe I have a personal grudge against electric cars, but they do look fun to drive though.
Yeah, I have to break it down though. It's like, I don't even know where to start because, obviously a lot of people don't know how to fix these things. It's batteries that you're dealing with. It's not a traditional engine. So, I could definitely see how it could be an issue. You know what I mean? Call roadside assistance or whatever you have. But yeah, I don't know. Teslas, they definitely need to be more reliable, I would say, or just EVs in general.
Mm-hmm. I would say I know the big one, the popular name is Tesla, but they also have this is a Chinese company. If I'm correct, it's called BUD or BUYD. My fault.
Yeah,
and it's probably it's bigger than Tesla because China has such a big population, so they're able to spread their message and their brand across a wider audience in America, and Tesla can. But I feel like Tesla's overrated.
You think they're overrated?
Yeah, I feel like we're just talking about a couple of years ago about Lucid.
Yeah, I see, because I thought you'd never mentioned that. Lucid Air, they're luxurious electric cars, and they're fire. If you haven't seen one yet, look it up. Lucid Air. They are very, those have cutting edge technology. They look very futuristic, it looks like it does not belong on planet Earth, actually. But they're definitely cool, you know what I mean? Because people think Teslas are maybe overrated, but I think they're also kind of underrated, though, because people don't give Teslas a chance to, be appreciated because of how much people, hate EVs,
Alright, so my opinion, I feel like Teslas, in sense of, a design, because I hear there's a lot of design flaws with Tesla.
Yeah.
People saying, the mirrors are out of place with the actual car and how it's supposed to go. You've seen it, I'm probably sure you've seen this on social media where people are trying to get into their Tesla in the cold, and it's ice frozen, it's frozen with ice and everything, and they can't get into it. They have to literally pick at their Tesla to get in there and stuff like that. But I've seen, I know it's going to be a crazy story, it's going to sound insane, but their durability though, you see, I've seen Teslas crash and there's a story of a guy, he was a doctor in California. He had his wife, and his 2 children, I believe, in a car, ran off the side of a cliff, and a Tesla.
What?
Trying to do something crazy, trying to kill his kids and kill everybody in his car. Essentially, yeah.
Wait, you say he tried to do that, or he did that?
He did it. Well, he's attempting to kill him, but the crazy thing is...
That's not crazy enough?
No. That's crazy. But the crazy thing is, though, the Tesla... The Tesla broke, it obviously shattered. It didn't shatter, but it crushed in a million pieces, obviously. But the family survived.
They did.
Everybody survived, and the Tesla survived.
I hope that dude got locked up.
Yeah, he did. He got locked up, but everybody, the kids, the wife, I think maybe some broken bones at least, but nobody suffered severe injuries.
So you're saying that they're very safe?
The Tesla, I would say in terms of safety, I would say they're pretty safe. I haven't heard of...
I don't know. All right, I will stop you right there because I don't think they're safe. That is a crazy story, by the way. Jumping, driving off a cliff and surviving.
What other car do you know is getting is surviving is like people in the type of car. Say like you have this is gonna get you mad. Say you have a Beamer goes upside of a cliff. You think people are living in that?
Yeah, why not? German engineering, man. Okay, about the Teslas though, like I don't think they're safe. Like that is crazy, and they're safe for that reason, maybe for like crash protection and everything. But I don't know if you guys know about this, but Teslas, their full self-driving capabilities, they can't really drive themselves. Like you better keep one eye or two eyes open when you're behind the wheel, like trusting your whole car to drive you to places. Because there's been a lot of stories where people get into car crashes and bad car crashes because the Tesla messes up.
Alright, you got a good point there.
See?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't trust the self-driving feature because like anything can happen. I mean, any car, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's more of a computing issue. There's something wrong with like if you're trying to drive the technology is about the computing issue, as I said. It could be an actual car issue, like something's wrong with the car and you don't know it, and then like due to the computer like reading like all the drive itself, and something with the car's messing up, it automatically just keeps going, or it could stop. Which is my big experience. It stops in the middle of the road, say like during like heavy car flow, like heavy foot traffic with cars, and it just ends up being a rear end collision, front end collision. Like that's probably my biggest experience in Tesla.
There's a lot of those.
Stuff like that. Also, too, you gotta think about the lithium battery in there.
Yeah.
You gotta think about what that can do if it were to collide with another object. Like
about that, I saw a news story my dad sent me. There was a Tesla that literally exploded because of lithium ion battery. Literally just like exploded on the freeway and it shot up into flames. And it was a very, very, very bad fire because of how strong and powerful those batteries are and how big they are.
yeah.
It caused a lot of damage. So it's definitely something to be like concerned about when you're like purchasing an EV in general, not just Teslas. Sounds like we're kind of like not on whatever, but like
we don't hate
Teslas.
Teslas. It's just a good
Me
example.
personally, I like Teslas a lot. But yeah, just EVs in general, like they could be dangerous because of that reason. But like to play the devil's advocate, gas powered engines or whatever, being fueled by gasoline, fires and stuff like that. Like it's the same thing. So it's like, just pick your poison.
Would you say it's just as dangerous? Or one
Just
worse or one more dangerous than the other? Like, well how would you compare it?
I don't know if you can compare it. Well, you definitely can compare it. I don't know if I can compare it because like they're just so different, because one has oil, one has gas, has a belt that could go. There's a lot of things that could go wrong in the engine. I feel like a battery has like less problems that can go wrong.
Less room for error.
Less room for error, for sure.
But like, okay, so would you say electric vehicles are inherently less risk prone or accident prone because of those minute like lack of error or lack of room for error because it's only like a certain number of mechanisms powering the car opposed to like a gas powered car where you have all these nook and crannies and variables. Like
Yeah.
risking that's like you know what I'm saying? Like from let's say insurance aspect, what would be the level of risk assessment when you're looking at an EV opposed to a gas powered car? What would you say? Like you just said, oh, it's more risk driving a gas powered car because EVs have less going on technically.
I like this question.
Or would it be, oh, it's almost the same due to the fact that it's using a lithium battery, which can be even more dangerous than using gasoline in a gas powered car? Like, what would be the mindset going in if you're trying to like judge which one is the safer car? And what is the way to go with buying a car?
Well, in terms of insurance, from the insurance aspect, I know if you have a problem with the Tesla, you can't really take it to any old, mechanic to fix it because a lot of people don't know about them. And they're very hard to be worked on because they're so new. You're working on batteries now. That's technology. You're working on, full-on tablets and displays. Like, if your Tesla goes kaput and it stops working, you might as well kiss that car goodbye because you're going to be coughing up thousands of dollars to fix it. Meanwhile, for like a regular gas powered engine, it would be more affordable for like the average person. But I know EVs for sure definitely more. You know, they cost a lot more money to fix and stuff.
All right, and contrary to that, I would say, all right. So if a Tesla gets into an accident, it's gonna take months to repair just because there's lack of people who actually know how to fix Teslas, or you have to actually take it to a Tesla dealer and then deal with all that, process. But in a gas powered car, I would say it might be even just due to the fact that nowadays, that personally, I've been through like having to wait for parts for months. Like my mom personally for her Dodge Journey, she had to wait 6 months to get a thermometer for her car because of lack of metal and a shortage on metal and supplies.
Okay, well that could also, you know, be implemented for like EVs as well.
Would you say like
could use a thermometer.
But like, would you say like there's a difference in like, oh, like you're gonna if you use the EV and you get into an accident, you're gonna have to wait a long time or wait a while to get that car back? Or would it be the same thing for gas powered cars since there's shortages on metal and shortages on actual equipment to fix that?
I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same because we've been driving, gas powered cars since 1900s. Like years ago, we've been driving gas powered cars all our lives, all of like mankind or whatever. We would obviously like
have all of mankind.
Not even all of mankind. We started with the Flintstones. You saw the cars. But it's like we would have the resources and tools to like fix it because everywhere around the world you can find resources to help a simple gas powered car. Now EVs, on the contrary, I don't think you could say the same thing because parts are definitely going to take a lot longer to get, and as I said before, they're going to be a lot more expensive. So it's going to be more difficult, and you may have a longer wait time because of it.
All right, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
There definitely is a lack of knowledge when it comes to EVs and people who can actually fix them. So I guess that kind of weighs it more as an option to buy a car, and it makes it harder for the average person to be like, oh, like my Tesla got through that. I actually our friend that been on my Tesla. Can you fix it? And they go to a mechanic and they're like, oh no, sorry, we don't know how to fix these. You gotta take it to the actual dealer. And then with the actual dealer, you gotta go. That's gonna cost some actual money.
Some real money. But here's my question though. Given the current circumstances and like this world in itself, what would you prefer to drive going into 2024? Would you want to get a brand new EV car, or would you go for your traditional gas-powered car?
Well, with government legislation, I feel like it's pushing, well, especially in America, they're pushing towards like this rise of buying EVs. Like, I'm not sure if you heard of like 2030 plan.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not really. That's huge. I don't know. I feel like I know what they're trying to do, but I don't feel like it's gonna work just due to the fact that EVs cost a pretty penny, and also too like what's the incentive? They didn't really say like, oh, is it gonna be like maybe like a tax write off or it's gonna come back to them or whatnot. So like, what's the incentive of me buying a $60,000 car with all the problems and all the baggage that comes with it? So I feel like for me in 2024, I think I'd still personally stick with gas just until like we have more people who have knowledge about EVs and more people who know what the implications of using them are. I mean, think about this. You want the environment you're doing this for the environment. Yeah. You gotta think about where the lithium batteries go after the car is done and total destroyed. Like, where do those batteries go? They just sit in the landfill because nobody knows how to dispose of them. Like, what's the process of decomposing that and deconstructing that to make it reusable?
That's a brilliant point. Because a lot of people are talking about, by 2030, we should have full EV cars or whatever, like no more gas-powered cars like being sold. But that's a really good question because where are the batteries going to go when the car is done? I don't think people are thinking about that because we're trying to like switch to EV-powered cars or electrically powered cars to save the world in a sense and kind of like slow, this whole changing of the climate change to slow it down, right? But we're still going to be like dealing with waste. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't think anyone's really took that into account, you know. So
yeah, like to be on that. I mean, if you could find a way to reuse a lithium battery, by all means, I feel like that'd be beneficial. But as of now, I feel like we gotta think about it from a more practical sense, in the sense that like, oh, like what's beneficial towards the average person right now? Like, what can they afford? I mean, especially with the economy where it's at,
yeah,
and people like, I don't think people can afford $60,000 to, like I said earlier, spend on an EV. I think they have bigger priorities than that right now. But that's just like my opinion.
yeah. But aside from that, though, I mean, you keep saying $60,000.
Well, like
EVs are getting cheaper. Like that's not a bad number to say, but that's very very expensive.
that's just like a guesstimation.
You know,
I
because I know like where our world is going. You know,
it's gotta be more accessible, obviously.
yeah, like car manufacturers are learning how to like take the prices down, make alternatives for people that like can't afford very expensive brand new cars, and they're trying to make it tailored to everybody. You know what I mean? So like they'll have like their base models, entry models, whatever have you, and so it could like suit everybody's needs. So that whole $60,000 mark, like that's a very expensive car. You'll only find that in like the premium trims of Teslas and base model trims of Lucids maybe. But I feel like in a couple of years, people will be able to like step foot inside them and like not have to worry about them being super expensive. Charging a pretty penny for like a brand new car, because that's like where our world's going, and they know that they have to make changes so it can be affordable and we can like actually start putting this plan into practice.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully by the time it is 2030, EVs will be a more affordable option for everybody. Like you said, like people are not trying to spend 40, 50, 60,000 on just a car. People are trying to spend a reasonable price.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, then again, you have like your, gearheads and people who like to still drive manual transmissions and race their cars and all this performance. Like,
you just made me think.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Finish it. I just thought of something.
You just thought? No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about the people? Because I remember we were talking about this. People who want to go manual and have an electric car. Like, how are you supposed to transition from having the stick shift and just like from nothing? Like, so that's gonna be a weird transition.
So funny story. I was house sitting for my auntie and uncle, and they had Teslas. Cool, whatever. Had them for the weekend, and I felt it was really weird to drive without like a gear shifter. So like what I did was I put my Poland Spring water bottle in the cup holder and hold my hand on it to like reenact it being like a gear shifter. And you know what? I wasn't mad at it because like it was comfortable. It was something to put my hand on. So maybe it was like EV manufacturers, just like have something to like, kind of put in place for a gear shifter. I think it'll all be good. But, actually shifting the gears and, having paddle shifters and this, that, and the third, there's really no replacement for it. But I think with the performance of these electric vehicles, it could really turn people's heads, because it really is like they have some of the best performing cars out there. Cars going 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Tesla Model Plaid. Then you have the Lucid Air Sapphire, I believe. 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds or 2 seconds dead. And like a top speed of nearly 200 miles per hour. You know what I mean? Like these cars are fast, doing quarter miles in less than 10 seconds. You're not really getting that in gas-powered cars now. The trade-off is you may have instantaneous torque in the EV. You may have, smooth driving everywhere you go, but you're really missing out on that engagement of the car. So I feel like if people would really, if people would want the world to change, like say manufacturers want the world to change, they need to learn how to make these electric vehicles engaging to people who are, who love performance and actually driving and being one with the car and, getting steering feel and getting like that feeling that they're like a racer kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think if we could like figure out how to do that, I think it would turn a lot of people's heads and we'd be more intrigued in wanting to own an EV at some point.
Sound like you work for an electric car company.
Sign me. No, but yeah.
And then with driving fast and being young men on the road who are young, just recently got their license. Like I'd say the past 5 years. What would you say about the rating? Like let's bring in Tesla for example. They have score ratings on how you drive and the speed you go at and how it dictates what your insurance should be each month. What's your opinion on that?
I think it should be criminal that you're like monitoring like exactly what's going on in the vehicle. However, drive safe always. 2 hands on the steering wheel at all times.
For sure.
Obey traffic regulations
10 and 2,
laws.
3 and 9, depending on what station.
Exactly.
Or what rules you got in the. Is it? Dude, what you said? Was it 3 and 9 or was it 10?
Don't ask me that because now I drive a wood.
I think just talking about being safe.
Oh yeah. I was just kidding, obviously. 2 hands on the steering wheel all the time. But anyways, I don't know. Like I think it's cool because it may like really intrigue people to like actually drive safer and be better drivers all around, which would in turn cause less accidents, incidents, kind of just make like the roads a safer place for people, and also lower your rate of insurance. Because insurance really is expensive, especially for young males. Because what people are banking on, who are like in the insurance field, they're banking on like young kids like us or whatever to like get into car crashes because we don't know how to drive and we're too not anxious behind the wheel, but like reckless.
Yeah.
Too reckless behind the wheel, and we're gonna be racing our friends and this and that. But
That's partly true.
Well, okay, you can speak for yourself, but I definitely see where they're getting at. But like, it's definitely a good idea to like monitor that stuff and make sure everyone's like kind of driving safe, just to lower your prices. I mean, it helps you out.
I would say, personally, what I think it's a good idea if you do follow, like, obviously, like, you do follow the rules, you do drive good. It's an excellent idea. You get the opportunity to bring, your your insurance score, the insurance score down as well, and maintain on your price. So I think it's a good idea. I feel like, but what about the variables? I'm not sure if they do it by averages. Like, if you drove 64 miles per hour this month, then you're doing good. Or if you drove if your average was 70 miles per hour, then their average score.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they average that out and what they dictate as an unsafe driver and a safe driver.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're able to become a safe driver and get that down, I feel like it's very beneficial. But for people who don't drive, who drive reckless and don't drive safe it's gonna be bad. But I feel like it gives more of an incentive to drive safer.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's good. The bad part is I don't like to be tracked. I don't want to be tracked.
You don't want to be tracked? Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about being tracked, constantly monitored. I just don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I got you.
Basically know your location at all times type.
It is. I mean, but then again, in today's world, it's we have something called cookies on the internet. Mm-hmm. They know exactly what you're doing on the web. They're tracking your every movement. So it's not foreign to us, unless you really don't know about cookies and what they do. But just the world in general, they always have tabs on you. It's something regular. It's normal. But,
I feel like implication of this, let's say, insurance score or car credit, I would like to call it, is basically as a means to collect data from everyone. I mean, it's just one big data tracking thing.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you can track data. If you give people an incentive to drive your car or use this insurance, they can track how much. They literally can track all the data, what route you take, how fast you drive on average, what times you usually drive, what your commutes are. It's just one big data pool.
It really is one big data pool. And it's all just a marketing scheme at this point. Every company wants to have all of your data and information, just so they can sell you products. Mm-hmm. Look it up, guys. Promise you, that's what they do. That's what they use your information for, just to sell you products. And they probably get a lot of y'all too, because they get me. I know that for sure, and I know they get Jeremy too. So
I haven't been a victim to that.
Yeah. But aside from that, though, the whole I don't know. What's next?
I would say we're getting to that conclusion, getting close to that. So close it off. I would say, would you personally buy an electric car?
Would I? Of course I would. What? I want I like all kinds of cars. I want to have a manual car at some point, maybe a convertible, manual convertible. It doesn't matter. Just make it fun, make it sound good. But electric vehicles, if you guys don't know, um, definitely look into them. It's definitely an experience. They can be very fun. They're very smooth, and they're just different, you know. So if you're some person who's like very close-minded to the fact of opening up to EVs, I would say give it a try, and it may turn your head because it definitely turned my head.
Personally, I think I'd buy a Lucid more than anything.
Lucid, yeah.
Lucid is like, I would say like it's almost like the Beamer of electric cars. Like it's so like
I guess
it looks super like
turnkey.
nice and like it's like a luxury electric vehicle. It looks cool. I really want to try I think either BYD it's called or BID from China.
Yeah, it's called BYD.
BYD. Those are cool. I'm not gonna lie, those are really cool.
I'm not a fan of them, but Lucid though, I'm there with you on that one. I like that one. Maybe sometime in the future though.
Hopefully.
By 2030, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
But
would you buy an electric car? Let us know down below in the comments. And that concludes today's episode.
And guys, thanks for tuning in again. You know, AAC International. My name's Raphael.
My name's Jeremy.
And remember, we got you covered from A to Z.
Thanks for watching.